Hello, welcome back to the shop. Today, we're going to play around with something a little different, but I think it's going to be a handy tool in the shop to look at stuff and to get into a little bit finer detail on things. We can, when we do experiments on things and we look at different products in future videos, I think this thing is going to be super handy, let alone working with finer details on things. So, what do we get? We got a really cheap microscope with a 10-inch screen. I don't know what to expect with this, but it was cheap enough that I guess it's worth a try. So let's get this thing opened up. Maybe, possibly, perhaps. See what we got. So we got some foam packing. And we got stuff. What do we got here? We got a remote. We'll set that aside. And one of those nice Chinesium bag thingies. That's great. We got. Alright, so here's some sort of calibration ruler. That's probably going to be important later. We'll put that somewhere slightly safer. Here's maybe a 20-second warranty instruction. Yeah, okay, how to assemble booklet. I guess we might use that maybe. Let's get the rest out here. So here's the screen. Let's just stand that. We'll get everything out of the bags then. We'll just try and get everything out of the box so I can get that out of here first. And wrenches. USB cables. Okay, that's in the other layer. Proprietary cable of some kind. And this layer of foamage goes away. And wait for it. Another proprietary. Oh, that's a light. I see. Okay, more foamy. Get the foamage out. And we got okay, that's our riser piece, and this appears to be our base. Yep, that's our base. And another piece of foamage. Okay, so let's get that. Yep, there we go. Out of the way. So let's get some of this out of bags. Try and be careful with it. Here's the base. Here is the upright. You can see it's got the little adjusters here for moving things up and down. That's nice. I don't think we need to worry about the USB cable at the moment. Is that USB? No, this is HDMI to HDMI mini. So we don't need to worry about that right now either, but it is not USB, it's HDMI. Here's some screws, USB A to USB-C cable. And these are the two lights that we talked about. And then, carefully, so I don't get this thing all messed up, this I'm going to lay this way. Yeah, we'll lay it, get those out so we don't put them off frame for now. Get those there. I'm going to lay this screen flat on its face until we figure out exactly how. Oh, I see. I think I already see how, but let's just make sure. So, thank you for purchasing. Let's see how good the English is. The English is in this thing. I'm not going to read the whole thing here. Alright, let's do an inventory of what we got, just to make sure. Okay, calibration ruler. Nice. Got it. Fill light, 2 of them. Count them. 1, 2. We got them. Screen, base, column. That's the proper term for this column. HDMI cable, data cable, remote, screws, 4. Yeah, okay, sure. And an Allen wrench. So we got everything. So when you get stuff like this, I'm loosey-goosey on instructions because I like the challenge of figuring it out for myself. But everybody does themselves, and that's perfectly okay. But one thing you should do, even if you want to play the game of how does this go together to yourself, make sure you have all the parts and pieces. So that's always a good thing to do. So I pretty much would expect what I'm seeing here. So we have the column. You can see here is a power connector, and here you can see the mate to the power connector. So it doesn't take a whole lot to figure out that the power connectors need to go together. And you can see 4 screw holes here. We happen to know from the inventory that there's 4 screws, and here's some indexing pins. So they go together, and that would get the column attached to the base, which is here. And then these holes, you can see, they have a clearance. So let's do that first. And what we're going to do here is I'm trying out this pack out magnet tray. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. So far, first impressions, not too bad. This is a nice instance for it because, you can dump this bag out and just have everything right there in the thingamajig. And if you want, you can throw your tools in there too, and that might be handy because now we just magnetized everything. Sometimes you don't want to magnetize everything, but in this case, it's okay. Because now, that'll work like that. So, let's just see, for the fun of it, easy, watch the cables, if these will want to start reasonably well. And it seems like they don't want to fight too bad, so I'm pretty comfortable trying to put this together. So what we're going to do, plug in our power cable. These are indexed. It's got a keyway in it. You can see there's a little keyway right here at the bottom. Hopefully that focused. I don't have the camera set up so I can see the screen, so we're kind of going a little raw dog here, but that's okay. So let's get that keyway plugged in. Only will go one way, and if you're really curious, you can see red to red, black to black. But there we go. Now that cable, we have to kind of sneak up inside of here so that we don't pinch it. You have aluminum extrusion here and a piece of plate. So if we pinch that on that aluminum, it will likely cut that. So, something to be careful with. Not something to be afraid of, but something to be careful of. Let's get a screw most of the way together so I don't have to keep holding this. And, they give you these Allens that are kind of ho-hum in their, they're okay. They'll get the job done. Okay, so that's just held together. We don't really want any of this tight. We just want it together. If we go ahead and tighten that all the way, what we stand a risk of doing is cocking everything, and it won't let us tighten the others. So let's just pull these out of our pack out tray here. This is kind of nice the way it's sloped. You can pull the screws out. I'm wearing gloves. Sometimes I wear gloves all the time, sometimes I don't. It's just whatever. Today's a glove day. So let's just do this. I'm trying to do this and not block myself on camera. There we go. Snug. Still got play in it. Same here. Go for the lefty. There we go. Run that down. You're getting the idea here. I'll fast forward through all this. Okay, so now that that's all together, you can see we have a nice solid fit here. It does not look like we pinched anything. So that's all together. Now, I'm going to assume the next thing, you can see this is dovetailed. Next thing is going to be to put that thingamajigger into the dovetail. But let's just see what the instructions say. So let's just verify what we did. Groove, groove, plug, plug. Blah, 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 blah. They're saying you could plug in the LED lights now. We'll do that later. I don't want them flopping around right now. And then they show this thing going into that thing. So let's do that. So you can see this has this dovetail here that mates with this. And that just slides on there like that. Just like that. So I got my fingers in there and I pushed down so that the dovetail was flush with the back. And then one thing we do need to do, I'm pretty sure this is going to go with the lightning bolt there. But I'm going to double check just to be sure. Base power supply interface. So that's how that works. So we're going to plug that in. And that is just a USB-C that goes into this connector right here. It does not feel, there we go. That feels better. So there we go. That is basically your whole assembly process. I'm going to see if I can get this to turn on. Alright, so the make it go button is underneath here. Right there. Oh, we've got signs of life. She's turning on. And okay, well that's a nice feature. There's a built-in light. I don't know if you see it there. Built-in light. I will take the cap off carefully, the lens cap. Okay, there we go. And you can see that light does that, and then this is not working. Okay, so let me play with this and see if I can get it to focus on the learning curve with everything. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, that's pretty nice. Well, why don't you take a look? There you go. You can see it's pretty good, and there it is, really small. So if we missed that before, the glove, that's pretty good detail there. It actually looks pretty decent, so I'm pretty happy with that. That's not bad. We can also move it up and down. I think as you go down, you might increase your zoomage. Maybe not, but let's see. Oh boy, this is balancing all kinds of shenanigans here. Yeah, so now that we're closer, you see we're getting the whole depth of field thing. There's the tip of the glove, and there's the other surface. Let's bring our screwdriver in again. See if I can get rid of some of the metal shavings. Probably just put more on it. Yep. Adds up. So it's all manual focus. But yeah, there you go. You can see the marks in it. Now, I'm trying to freehand hold this at the right elevation to have it in focus. So that obviously makes a difference. But if you were working on something on it, that would obviously, matter. But, okay, cool. So I think this thing's going to be super handy to have in the shop. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on this thing? To be truthful, a little bit of time has passed since we last shot what we had going. I wanted to use this a little bit so that I could just get a little bit better, have a little bit better input on it. So, as you can see, this is a pretty clear image. We're looking at the glove again. We'll get that into focus. And it's nice. It's a nice focused image. There's a few things that I'd like to take note of, though, and nothing's really bad. This thing interfaces very well with a PC. It shows up just like a flash drive or anything like that, like a camera. It is a digital camera, so it kind of shows up as one. You don't need any special software or bloatware or anything like that to use it. You just hook it up and it works. It does have a remote, which I didn't show previously, and I actually put Velcro on the back of the remote, and I stick it to the upright piece. So here's the remote, and you know, pretty basic. Remote just has pictures, video. If you want to start shooting video, you just hit the video button. See if I can get all that in frame. You hit the video button there, and what it'll do is it'll give you 3, 2, 1, and now we're recording video. So now if I put my finger underneath here, I'll put this video as the primary video, and you can see me focusing, and you can take a nice close look at things. Like if we wanted to get a nice pair of Klein pliers and take a look at them, we could get them in there. We could look at the joint on there. We could take a look at the jaws. Let's get them a little bit better in focus. There you go. You can see the grind on it. It's very nice. We could take a look at the teeth, if I could open it properly. There we go. You can see the teeth on the pliers. You can see the leftover paint in there. Everything gets kind of fascinating when you zoom in and you just really take a look at things up close. So this has been really handy. If you noticed, we would have seen this in the head-to-head videos we did with the flush cutters. We used the microscope pretty extensively in those videos. We also we're going to use it in other future videos looking at stuff as well that are going to be coming out shortly. So kind of cool in that regard. And then when we're done taking video, just hit the video button again, and it stops. So it's pretty nice. You can take photos. See, it says capture success. It's just all around a pretty well made, relatively simple tool to put in the shop, and that's what I'm really happy with. It just works. You know, there's no really hard things about it. You turn it on, it does the thing, and that is just so nice to have in the shop for so many things, because you're in the shop to fix stuff. You don't want to have to mess around with and fix what you're using to fix the stuff beforehand. So that's just kind of refreshing, and this really wasn't that expensive. Are there better ones out there? I am absolutely sure there are, but this one gets the job done, and that's really all we can ask for. So other than that, the audio that you heard when we had the video from the microscope up, it was from the camera we're recording on. The microscope really doesn't have any audio recording abilities that I know of. I haven't found anything that shows a microphone or anything like that on the microscope. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. If you're getting this and you want to narrate over it, you may want to consider having some other form of audio recording, so that if you want to talk over the videos that you're, if you're working underneath the microscope and you want to talk about what you're doing, at that point you may want to have something else to get the audio, which that's fine. I got it to be a microscope and it does that just fine. So hopefully this video is interesting. A little bit of time has passed between when we unboxed, assembled, and kind of tested this thing out, and our thoughts on it. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with this product. I've had it for a few months now. We've seen it in videos already on the channel. This has been kind of a little bit of a video in the making, and hopefully it's interesting, and hopefully you guys can take something away from it, because I get it, purchasing tools for the shop, it's not a small thing. You want to try and maximize your money, and from what I see, this is decent. I haven't gotten any competitors to play around with, because I really don't need a ton of microscopes around. This is just one that I landed on with doing some research that I was doing, and so far I'm happy on it. If you have a different type of microscope, or you have anything to say, share with anybody about your use with one of these or a similar economy priced microscope, let us know in the comments below. This is really kind of, other than a high school science class, this is really the only experience I've really had with one, and for what I'm doing, this works fine. I am not at a more finite level though. Somebody else might not be as happy depending on what your usages are. But you'll continue to see parts of this on the channel, and maybe you'll see things that you like and things that you don't like. But as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and maybe I'll put a few slides at the end of this of photos that we took with the microscope.